All right, 99.9 Punk World Radio FM. We are joined by a phenomenal Canadian Alberta-based band. That's right. We got the Black Daggers right here live on the radio station airwaves. How are you guys doing this phenomenal Monday night?
Absolutely awesome. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Oh man, you're most certainly welcome, man. I gotta say, guys, when I actually first discovered you guys and you guys sent me your music, I was like, man, this band is absolutely killer. We have to showcase this music, man. So the fact that you guys reached out,
appreciate the love, because I mean everything has already just gone beyond our expectations, and so it's great. Just even hopefully I'm not too awkward. This is my first interview too, so like I mean it's big times, right? So.
Hey, I gotta say, I absolutely love just giving individuals their first interview as well, man. Like, I had a group on, I think, like, last week, and they were actually, like, just freshly 18-year-old kids just actually created a band, and they're like, this is our first interview, and they were, like stoked out the whole time. I love being able to do that, man, because at the end of the day, it might be, whether it's someone's first interview or 50 millionth interview, man. If you got great music, I want to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean... Appreciate that. Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, you really do a lot. I've been watching a lot of your stuff and listening to the station. You really, you do a lot for the music community in Canada. So thanks, DJ.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Hey, man, I appreciate that, man. Honestly, like I always tell everybody, I just do what I do for the love of music, man. So as long as you amazing bands keep making it, we here at Punk World Radio FM are going to keep spinning it.
We'll do our best to keep doing that.
But guys, I know you guys are very busy individuals, so of course I'm not going to take you away from your Monday night too long, but I got to take you back to the beginning of the Black Daggers, man. I have to ask, like, how did you guys actually first meet and come together to form this band, man? Because, like you mentioned, you guys are doing absolutely phenomenal things just within your first year in the music industry.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'll start it. You finish it. I guess. I think what happened, if I recall correctly, it all started... I was supposed to do a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reference, but I posted something. I think I posted something, or was it you? One of us posted something on this local Facebook page for Red Deer musicians or something. I had just moved here. I'm originally I spent the last 20 plus years in Calgary, and I bought a house and moved up here in coming up 2.5 years ago, and then. I post this thing, join this group, and then Valentine, responds, and it's like, oh, okay. And I met a couple other guys too, but he and I seemed to hit it off. I'm like, this guy really knew what he was doing, and we seemed to connect, and it just kind of spiraled from there. We just started recording all this stuff. Like I had some stuff, he had stuff, and it just kind of kept going. And then it was like, okay, what's next? Find more people, and yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we initially, like, I think we got together like January 2022. First
that's about right.
And, I think we just hit it off musically, right away. It was kind of like we were finishing each other's musical sentences. He had ideas, I had ideas, and they were like stuff we were both kind of stuck on. And I had previously been in bands for like years before all of this, and I took a big break, like 6 years off, and I was kind of trying to dip my toes back into whether or not I wanted to perform or what I wanted to do. And Spencer wanted to like record and stuff, and I thought that was a great idea. And initially, like, the idea of the band was to have kind of a revolving cast of musicians and sort of do like more of a recording project. But as we continued on and started getting more people to get involved, it just became like a band. We wanted to pursue it that way. And I mean, I think we really just wanted to keep creating music. I mean, we wrote 25 songs last year, and then we ended up doing 8 for this record because we were like getting to the point we've been jamming for like a year plus, and we were like, we got to do something. Like, it is time to shit or get off the pot, right? I mean, 25 songs are starting to get old to us, so we needed to start like recording them, get them out to people, let people hear them, and so that was kind of where this all sort of started to come from, and so that's where we're at today.
And when you actually said a few moments ago how you actually were in previous bands prior to the Black Daggers and you took 6 years off, what actually made you decide to actually, get back into the music industry? Like, what reignited that spark in you?
Yeah, I mean, I was, I used to be lead singer for Secondhand Habit for a few years, and I mean, we did moderately well, but I think the business side of everything sort of burned me out, and and helping with like all the networking and scheduling and trying to get all that set up. And it just, you know, at the end of the day, it was like invested in what I wanted to do than everyone else I was working with. We were all on different like pages, and so I sort of got really burned out on it. But I mean, in the like 6 years that I took off, I never stopped playing guitar. I never stopped writing, and it's always been a passion of mine. So what I like to say is, you know, I took time off to get something to write about. You know, you kind of have to live a bit of life to have something to speak about, and so that's what I did in that time. And I got a career in insurance, you know, completely different thing that I never thought I would do. And you know, like really grew up, I guess, as they say, and kind of, you know, found other passions and then channeled back into the music when everything else in my life got kind of sorted, and I found my mantra, you know, move forward. So.
And also as well, you guys are actually currently signed to Paper Cuts on Purpose Records, an indie label out there in central Alberta. I was wondering if you can actually just tell us a bit more about this record deal, and of course, how did you guys ultimately get connected with that company originally?
Yeah, actually, so that's sort of just an indie label that was like started sort of in-house. So they're like Paper Cuts on Purpose is really like we're the only band on it, and we're actively looking for more people. But I'm actually like co-founder of the label, so that definitely helped. Don't worry about that. Yeah, we're definitely out looking though. I mean, I'm definitely interested in lots of different bands, and so I mean that's definitely something that's always on my radar. What I really wanted to do was try and use some of the skills that I had learned to see if I could help other bands in the scene. I mean, I really tried to be really active here in the Red Deer scene since I got back into it. You know, I've been making a lot of connections. I was out at a show last night, actually, Bitter Rivals here in Red Deer. Give them a shout out. They're a great band. They opened for Wide Mouth Mason last night at Pose. They were fantastic, though. You guys, if you haven't checked them out, check them out. You know, plenty of good bands here. So that's really sort of the genesis of that. And I mean, yeah, I kind of have ambitions to like sort of do that on the side of like do the music as well.
And when you said as well that like you're the co-founder of the label and whatnot, you are actively looking for other bands to sign. I do know obviously we have a lot of bands and a lot of musicians that currently listen to this radio station and listen to these past interviews as well. So with that being said, what are the requirements and what all do you actually require for bands and artists to actually submit to your label? Like, is there a certain requirements? Do you just want someone to hit you up, or do you actually want them to come to correct with the EPK and links? Like, how do you want to be approached?
You know, honestly, like, I try to like really listen to a lot of diverse stuff, and you know, I mean, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on all the different social medias, and I mean, I'm easy to find. Valentine Vandal everywhere, so. You know, I'll talk to you if you got, you know, something you want.
I'll vouch for the fact that he's got probably the most diverse musical taste amongst everybody in our band.
Yeah.
I haven't heard him say it yet, but I think he likes Taylor Swift.
Yeah, well, maybe not Taylor Swift, but no, I mean, definitely like hit me up. You know, I'm open to listen to anybody, and you know, really, I think it's more of a boutique kind of thing where I'd like to take on stuff that I feel really passionate about. And projects that I believe in, you know, and I more likely probably approach people rather than have them approach me. But I mean, feel free to reach out. I want to hear your stuff. Like I love music. Yeah. So.
And when you said a few moments ago about Taylor Swift, man, honestly, don't even feel bad about that, man. Because I guarantee if you start singing a Taylor Swift song to a girl, I swear to God, you got a second date if you get what I'm saying.
Probably, you know, be like, oh, check out this cover of Taylor Swift.
We don't have enough lyrics about bars and cars yet.
Maybe we could go viral for like that band that did a death metal version of Friday from Rebecca Black.
Well, it's covers, niche covers.
But also as well, guys, just jumping into this amazing album that you guys dropped October 31st of 2023, so literally just this past Halloween, you guys released your 8-track album. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about this brand new album, and of course, where can we actually snag ourselves a copy of it today, man? Because this album is absolutely stellar, in my honest opinion.
Thank you.
Yeah,
wow.
Thank you, first of all. I mean, it's, you want to take this one, Spence?
So, I guess the story about... I guess if you want to go way, this kind of connects to your previous question about how it all started. So the idea of the concept record is very, very early on when Valentine and I met. You know, we connected. He had this idea, and I had always wanted to discuss certain aspects of you know, the subject matter of the album. You know, it's something I can personally relate to on various different levels. I mean, you know, it's you know, the character that I mean, Valentine wrote all the lyrics, so you know, the character he developed is an amalgamation of, you know, anyone and everybody kind of thing. You know, there's something there that I'm sure everybody could relate to on some level. You know, maybe not everything, but you know, there's definitely songs on there that are 100%, you know, lyrically I'm able to draw a really deep personal connection to it, you know, and that was what really got me into wanting to do this, you know. It was literally, I mean, not to get too deep or anything, but like, it's an emotional outlet for me, right? And that's what inspired it. So it's definitely, you know, it's definitely on the darker side, but you know, we that's kind of where it went, and we developed this whole story, and it touches on all these different things. And then, of course, what made it even more awesome for us, I guess, and maybe in hindsight also a little frustrating, was we did everything ourselves.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was an undertaking.
yeah, but you know, we knew that we knew enough to be dangerous, let's put it that way, and then we also knew what we didn't know, and that's where we brought on other people to help.
Yeah, like I mean, we got the mixing done, especially the mastering done professionally, but all the tracking we did just in this room. Honestly,
Yeah,
like,
everything was recorded right here. So
you know, we did all that. I mean, and as far as like the album itself and kind of the concept and where that all came from, it's honestly, I had a song that I wrote like 10 years ago, and it didn't actually make it onto the album. It's funny, but the song itself is about a guy who's like crazy, and he envisions like, so I like to write songs from like someone's perspective. Like I kind of like to live in the head of like a character, and I find that interesting to try and like envision what are they thinking in the moment. And so, like, I wrote this song about a guy who was in an asylum, and basically he's a mental patient, but he's kind of like misinterpreting like the nurses coming in and giving him sponge baths and like giving him attention. It's like them hitting on him, and so he's like in a place where he's like, you know, he thinks all this is advances on him, and so it's like, well, how did he end up in the asylum? How did he get there? How did his life fall apart that he ended up there? And then I started working backwards, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe he had to get into the asylum because he was crazy. And then how did he get crazy? And it's like, okay, well, he made a deal with the devil maybe, and that caused him to like get crazy. So it was really like a combination of things, and it took years. Like 2 of the songs actually, Wasted and City Limits, were written over 10 years ago. In, you know, prior projects just never got used. They were just ideas I had kind of floating around, never finished, and they really fit into what we were working on. And kind of when we started looking at the 25 songs, we found that there were probably about 10 to 12 that really fit into that mold really well. But in the kind of the really in the respective time that we had and kind of what we wanted to do, we narrowed it down to 8, but we still have some B-sides and stuff that we're going to be working on that'll probably be out like some point next year. That'll be like kind of a part of a bigger project. But the whole album itself is like, we're really working on sort of a 4 album anthology. So this is like part 1 of 4. And it should basically, it'll take probably the better part of like 10 years to finish. So stick around. We got lots in store.
A lot more to come. It just, and the nice thing is we get to do it on our own schedule for the most part. So.
Yeah, that's too. Like modern technology has been fantastic. I mean, you know, being able to record on our own time, you know, and really delve into it. And we knew enough. I mean, we got to fit around, record lots. So that was great. But we're working with wonderful people too. I mean, Martin Moretti, the guy we got to mix, he was fantastic.
Amazing.
Like, honestly, I'd recommend him 100%. Anyone needs someone, mix Martin Moretti. Go find him. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Easy to work with. Was like super passionate. Love him.
Yeah.
And when you said as well, because I know you briefly kind of answered this question that I actually have, but when you said there's 25 songs that were written for this album, and of course 8 made the cut, when you actually say there's an anthology of about 4 albums that's going to span 10 years, are those anthology of all the songs you've written, or do some of those 25 songs that you wrote, will they ever actually see the light of day, or is that just something that is on a piece of paper that's not going to even hear through a microphone?
I would still describe that as just kind of like the what's the term, like a war chest or something, you know, like it's really just the bank of tracks that we've got. I mean, ultimately, you know, we have this idea and we're still writing, you know, we're going to write, and whatever comes out is what comes out, and it goes into the bank. And then effectively, once we're ready, or that time comes, we're going to be like, okay, with the thought in mind, then we're going to go, okay, this works, this doesn't work, you know, that's kind of where it goes. And that's how it's going to happen, more than likely.
Yeah, we sort of have like, there's like 4 overarching themes that we want to cover with the 4 records. So the idea is that we're going to continue to write songs, obviously, and then what we're going to try and do is have it like obviously all fit into varying themes. So that will also come with somewhat of a genre and style shift, because we're sort of looking at playing with like different sounds as well when we tackle different subjects. Like, I mean, I'll give a little bit of a spoiler. One of the albums is going to be about Cthulhu and going to mysticism and occultism. So, I mean, we're going to get kind of like heavy, a little more sludgy on something like that, because I think that, you know, leads to more like brooding, slow-paced, kind of crushing sound and of like heavy ocean, you know, like that sort of thing. So, I mean, we're going to play with all kinds of ideas, but this was just like kind of a precursor to what's coming.
There's also going to be lighter stuff too. I mean, like, you know, like there might be some acoustic stuff coming right down. I mean, well, Carpe Diem, but I mean, there's going to be more, anything in between. The way I describe it is like everything that we've got, we have a very dynamic taste in music amongst all of us. Actually, Martin said when we went into the mixing process, side note, this is a funny little thing. So Martin, if I recall correctly, the guy who mixed it, he worked with Yoad Nevo, and if you're in the industry with that name before, Yoad Nevo has mixed a lot of music, stuff you've heard on the radio. So he trained under Yoad Nevo, and so he asks us, he says, you want send us a list or send me a list of songs or tracks that you guys really like the sound of. So we all put together like 1 or 2 songs or whatever, and he messages us back. He's like, that has got to be one of the most dynamic freaking lists I've ever seen.
It's like some of these bands don't have anything in common.
Yeah.
You got sure.
Yeah. So if that's a hint as to what might come out of us, there you go.
Yeah, we're diverse. Alternative would be a good label for us.
And also as well, Exclaim.ca also added you guys to their most recent Spotify playlist titled the A-List. I was wondering if you can actually just tell us a bit more about how did you guys get discovered by Exclaim, and of course, what was it like just being featured alongside so many other amazing bands just like yourselves?
Well, it's super cool, but that's totally a Valentine question.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're working with John Asher from Asher Media Relations. He's our publicist. He just came on board like a few weeks ago, and I mean, honestly, he has been fantastic. Like, I mean, that guy, he has been getting us spots everywhere, and you know, shout out to him. Like, he actually, so back in August when we released Surfin', we ended up getting Alan Cross. We got his attention, and so Alan Cross, he posted us on his Undiscovered Gems, and when he reached out to tell us he was going to like host us on that, he had mentioned like reach out to John Asher. He's a good plugger, you know, in like heavy music in Canada. So we ended up reaching out, and I mean, he's been honestly like fantastic. And anyone looking for somebody, like, that's your guy. If you're into heavy music, he knows everyone, and he will hook you up. Like, I can't believe, like, our publicist is key, definitely.
Yeah.
And also, speaking of getting spots everywhere, guys, I also saw on your Instagram that on November 3rd, so just about a week ago, you guys actually posted that your songs are currently blowing up on the radio out there in France. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about that, and of course...
Yeah, we're like, I don't know, we're like consistently charting in like the UK and France. I mean, so we got on this thing called like Amazing Radio, and it's like digital satellite radio. They have charts and stuff, and I mean, they've been fantastic. They've been playing us tons. I mean, I think we got 160, 170 spins since the record came out. I mean, that's pretty good considering there are only like 2 channels. I mean, we're constantly on there, and if you want to check us out, I mean, you can go and listen to it all on there as well. You can buy the record on there, and I mean, it's on Bandcamp. We are going to have physical copies too. We're doing like an exclusive limited run of the Riverview Hospital cover. We're only going to do 100 ever, and then they're never getting printed again. We will re-release the album later with a different cover, but this is going to be completely exclusive. So get your copies, because when they're gone, they're gone. We're never going to make another one. So this is a special run, and we'll probably number them all too for everybody. So you have 1 of 100. And sign as well if you want. Let us know.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, first and foremost, guys, what is next, like, for Black Daggers? Like, is there anything we happen to miss during this evening's interview that you guys still want to touch on, talk about, or promote? We still got you here on the radio this evening.
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple other appearances coming up here in the next few weeks. Just keep an eye out on our socials. We'll be around. A couple other things. I mean, I think we have a review coming out in Metalized over in Denmark. That's coming up in their next magazine, I think, coming pretty soon. And then I mean, we're just gonna be plugging away, and we're setting up for 2024. We want to get busy for spring and summer of 2024, kind of get some stuff going for then. We sort of missed the window this year, but we wanted to really go hard over the winter to promote and get in touch with people, make connections, and show everyone our music, because I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's about, right? Getting people to listen to you. That's the name of the game, right? So.
And obviously, guys, before we actually part ways here this evening, obviously I know how to follow you guys on social media, but for the individuals that are just discovering the Black Daggers right here tonight on Punk World Radio FM, how do they go about following you guys across all social media platforms? That way they can stay updated on what is to come in 2024.
Go for it.
Yeah, so we're Black Daggers Music, or we had to kind of be creative in some cases. On Twitter, we're Black Daggers CAD, Canadian. But if you find, just search Black Daggers, you can even put in just Linktree, Black Daggers. That'll take you to all of our socials. Facebook's a great place.
Yeah, we got the Facebook, the Instagram, the Twitter, the TikTok.
We got also blackdaggersmusic.com. That's our website.
Yeah, the website, blackdaggersmusic.com.
Yeah. We post everything there too. Yeah. We got Bandcamp, anywhere. We're all over. Deezer. We're even on Pandora, I think. So yeah. Who's on? We're on Tidal. I mean, if you want to listen to us on Tidal, I think the 7 people on there, then listen to us on Tidal.
It would definitely help if they bring Tidal, and I think it's Tidal, and one of the other ones is actually not available in Canada, man. If they were to not make that US exclusive, I really think they would get a lot more subscribers. Whenever they make it region locked, honestly, it's so stupid when they do that. Because you can have that whole rest of the globe, man, to actually buy your services. But us Canadians, we always get screwed.
Well, it's funny too. It's Tidal actually pays out the highest royalties of all the streaming services, which is insane, because they're one of the smallest too. But I mean, they pay almost double what anyone else does in terms of streaming revenues. It's nuts to think about. But hopefully, what's happening with Spotify, if we can take 5 seconds, they're trying to not pay royalties to anyone who doesn't qualify for 0.5% of the overall royalties coming in 2024. We are staunchly against that. All independent bands should be, because you should get paid for every single stream that you get. It shouldn't go into a pool and just pay the people at the top. That's not fair, and that's not right. Royalties are there for everybody to collect. If you got 50 streams, so you got 500,000, you should get paid for your 50 streams. That's not fair. Yeah. So Spotify, that's bad Spotify. We don't like you.
I gotta say, I agree, guys. That's why, honestly, I don't even use streaming services. I shit you not. I literally don't even get the free trials. I actually buy CDs. I'll actually go out and actually go on Bandcamp and buy the singles, because my motto is I'd rather give bands like yourselves dollars rather than pennies, man. But would you actually go to your favorite band and actually whip a handful of pennies at them? That's essentially what you're doing when you stream their music. I'd much rather give you guys dollars. That way I know you're actually getting what you charge. Because if you put your song at $2, you're getting what you actually want for that music.
Yeah.
No, for sure. And I mean, every dollar that goes into a project like ours, we're completely DIY. So I mean, we're just going to use.
We're self-funded and everything.
We're
literally.
Make more music.
It's all us.
We're going to try to improve our stage show. It's all just going to go right back into the band to make better products for everybody who wants to listen to us, and a better show. That's really what we're interested in. So, that really does go a long way. And I know, as much as we're all against streaming, and I think it is kind of a necessary evil. like it does affect people getting gigs. It does affect a lot of things. So you know, give people a stream, but also buy their shit. Buy their shit. Like you know, buy a CD at the show. Go to the show and support local for sure.
One of my most prized possessions is my vinyl of Stone Temple Pilots Purple.
There you go. See, vinyl's making back. Even cassettes now.
And Tool Lateralis, I have that on vinyl too. So those are classics.
It's weird, man. It's almost like going in reverse. I'm a CD guy, man. So like I have vinyls and whatnot, but I like the CD aspect because I still run the CD player in my car, man. But it's funny.
Oh yeah.
Whenever I was actually at totally off topic. I was at a thrift store about a couple months ago, and I was looking through the CDs, and some kid, maybe like I say 13, 14, walks up and goes, "Hey, sir," which made me feel old as shit. Being like, "What's in your hand? What's in your hand?" So at first I was like, "Yo, are you kidding me, kid?" And he goes, "No, what is that?" I'm like, "It's a CD, also known as a compact disc." And he goes, "What's that?" I instantly, at that moment, I lost all faith in humanity. I was like, I felt like the old guy that was rooting through an 8-track.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, I remember Twisted the Tape.
I remember that.
Came out and was eating it in your tape deck, or you had to catch the radio.
Catch the radio, blank tapes, and record off the radio.
And then whenever those little prongs would actually pop out, you had to put a little tape in it. I used to shove a little bit of toilet paper in the hole. That way you can actually tape over it.
I also learned the hard way: don't ever put your tapes on top of speakers.
That, or don't put your VHS or cassettes on top of a microwave. I mean, After that, it literally becomes paperweight. It literally is nothing but static and bullshit.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, first and foremost, guys, thank you so much for a bit of your time here. It was such an honor speaking with both of you guys, and I hope down the line we can make this happen again sometime soon. Whenever your guys' second record drops, we gotta get you back on Punk World Radio FM, man. But for now, definitely have yourselves a phenomenal night out there in Alberta.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it. Honor is all ours. Thanks for having us. Really appreciate it. So thank you.
Yeah, we'll keep tuning in.
Hey, you're most certainly welcome. You're most certainly welcome, guys. Definitely have yourself a phenomenal night.
Thanks. You too.
Have a good one, man.